Okay, this thing's rolling. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Okay. Kinsey, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me about Tipton tires.
Yeah, so Tipton started in the spring of this year, 2025. And the idea behind it was my husband Eric and I recognized that there was a need for a solution for people to store their tires for the seasonal tire swaps. As everyone knows, space is at a premium in Bozeman. Rents are higher than ever. Housing prices are crazy high. And a lot of folks just don't have a great solution for their tires. So we kind of heard about the model in other areas. There's some tire storage solutions in the Pacific Northwest and places like Utah and Colorado, and it's actually really big up in Canada. Kind of everyone stores their tires. So we kind of saw that there was a need and then realized there was a huge hole in the market. Just in talking to local tire shops and dealerships, you realize how many tires are actually swapped in such a small community in Bozeman. So that's how Tipton started. We started in the spring and are just kind of getting kicked off here this year.
Do you guys have any idea how many tires are swapped on average in this county in a season?
I don't know exactly. I just kind of have been having a lot of conversations with the tire shops and dealerships, and it's crazy. I mean, they're saying, we have sister locations over in Boise, and Bozeman dwarfs that market by, 100, 200% for tire swaps at, different locations. So it's I don't know exactly, but it's crazy how many they do. Some of these shops are doing 120 to 150 swaps a day during high season for months on end. They're doing that every single day. So quite a few.
I was just in the tire shop yesterday, ironically. I think they're booked up, at least the one I was at, for at least 3 weeks for
Wow.
tire swaps right now.
Yeah, and it only gets busier.
Yeah, and as soon as the weather turns, I think it becomes a rush
Mm-hmm.
because nobody thinks of
Definitely.
it till.
Yeah. I've heard a few stories of people coming in after an accident, a little fender bender, saying, "Oh, I need my tires on. I just slipped and, something bad happened."
Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule Media has always been to build real connections between Montana businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, or passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, post it in your story, like or subscribe to this channel. That one simple action helps these local businesses get seen, and it helps this business keep going. Thanks for being a part of it. Now back to the show.
But
I was wondering with all the new apartment buildings around here, if a lot of those have garages. So I'd imagine storage for anyone in all the apartment buildings, that's probably a big issue.
yeah. Yeah, and one of our big things too is that people might have a little bit of storage. Hopefully some of these newer apartments are providing a little bit of storage for people. Uh, but as you know, people have a lot of hobbies in this community, and having to trip over your tires to get to the things that you actually use is not exactly what a lot of people want to be doing. And families that have kids with bikes and skis and all that sort of thing in their garages, just providing that option for people to have the tires out of their way altogether and not having to haul them around and get dirty and deal with them at all. That's kind of our goal. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. And how does the model work? You said, or you didn't say, but the way I understand it, people can have the tires swapped and you guys can pick them up right at the shop.
Yes. So the way it works is people go on our website and they just sign up with a big yellow sign up button. And it just asks, where will you be having your tires swapped, what time, and then asks for your payment information and how you would like to sign up. So if you'd like to do a subscription model or pay for the whole year up front. And then after we receive that, we go and pick up the tires immediately after from the tire shop, the dealership, or, the home where they're changing them out at. And then the following season, when they're ready to get them swapped back on, they just reach out to us via the website and say, request tires. Let us know the same information. Hey, I'm going to, XYZ tire shop at this time, this date. And then we go and drop that set of tires off before their appointment so that they're able to be placed on.
So you guys will contact the tire shop. Are they cool with you just leaving them there when they come back to have the tires put back on again?
Yes, yes. So it's very normal. If you see tire shops this time of year, a lot of people will be picked up because they'll just leave their car at the tire shop. So there's stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of tires. So the tire shops have been so great to work with, and they're really happy to accommodate their customers and help them with whatever setup they have.
That makes sense. Have you guys learned anything exciting or interesting about starting this business? Is this your guys' first venture in entrepreneurship?
It is. I worked at a startup once upon a time, so that was kind of a fun way to dip my toes into something entrepreneurial, but it certainly was not my own, and, um, Eric has started a business previously, but this is kind of I would say our first big jump into something together for sure. Um, and you asked what types of challenges, right?
Yeah.
I think, anyone that's started a business or even just tried something out of their comfort zone, I think some of the biggest challenges so far are just if people aren't very active on social media besides posting pictures of their friends and family, it's putting yourself out there, just kind of being like, "Oh my gosh, this is really uncomfortable. I'm filming this video. I'm talking on the camera to my audience," or um, you know, just making people aware of the brand, putting yourself out there day in and day out. I think that's kind of the most challenging part thus far. But we've had a ton of support in the community, and people have been really receptive. So grateful for that, it hasn't totally backfired thus far.
Yeah, there's a big vulnerability to that in business when you are just expressing who you are and what you're doing, and you're open to all the feedback, which in my case or in my experience, most of the feedback is just like my own criticism of myself. But most of the feedback I've gotten, fortunately, has been great in this community, but I understand how that can feel.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're just hoping that everybody understands where you're coming from, kind of understands your vision. So,
I put a billboard up a year or two ago, and I was kind of nervous about it. I had no idea why. I'm like, well, I guess it is a very big display of the company
mhm.
with our name and number on it. So, you know, for better or worse, whatever we do is going to be, there's a really big banner out there.
Yeah.
And, for better or worse, you answer to the feedback.
Yeah. And what if it, people aren't receptive to it? I think that's part of it. What if it doesn't go the way I think that I thought it would?
Yeah. And I think in my experience, nobody else really cares as much as I do. They're like, they got a million things going on and they could almost care less.
Yeah.
There's so much noise going on.
Yep.
But it's important to, to be relevant and put your stuff out there and get out there.
Yes. I agree.
How's the day-to-day look with you and Eric? How are you guys splitting tasks and managing that and running this startup and the rest of your life?
Yeah, so I would say I'm kind of point person on the startup right now.
Okay.
And I always say Eric's the head of operations. So he's kind of the warehouse guy, designing it, the layout, everything like that. But outside of that, the website, the socials, um, getting everything else set up, the relationships, that's kind of been me thus far. But in the future, hopefully, we're splitting it a little bit more down the middle as things pick up. But yeah, he's very excited to be more involved, and just the beginning parts have been really great to launch and keep him in the loop, but not have him have to spend too much time on it.
And tell me a little bit more of your guys' background. He's from Montana and you're from Wisconsin, is that right?
Yes,
Okay.
good memory. Eric's from Billings, so he was born and raised, lived most of his life in Montana, except for a brief stint in Tasmania he lived. And then I am from Wisconsin originally, went to school at Northwestern in outside of Chicago, and then lived there for about on and off for about 7 to 9 years. During COVID, I was gone for a little bit, but um, yeah, so I was there for quite a while, and then I moved out to Montana about 2.5 years ago to
Okay.
Bozeman.
And Eric's mostly been around here, Bozeman or Billings.
Yes, forgot to mention he went to school at MSU, so
Okay.
he was a Bozemanite there for a while.
How'd you guys meet?
We met shortly after, in passing, right after I moved here, about 3 months after I moved here, and he asked me to go on a hike with him. So, the first time we actually really got to know each other, we hiked up to Mount Ellis, and it was in the fall, so it was October, kind of this time of year actually, and the days are getting shorter, and I was not really prepared. I kind of assumed we would hike a little bit and then come down and, do something else, but we hiked all the way up,
Oh,
so
really?
it got dark, and I did not pack warm clothes, so luckily he brought a bunch of warm stuff and flashlights, and we hiked down and then got dinner at Aleworks.
Nice.
Yeah,
What a guy being prepared.
I love
That's a
it.
good look.
Montana guy.
Yeah. Last time I went to Mount Ellis, I didn't even make it to the top of Mount Ellis, and I was on a horse. So go figure. That's a long hike.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It was quite a few hours. But I think we saw a moose that day, and I have seen a fox up there that is very friendly a handful of times. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, I think he hangs out up there.
Okay, so you guys have been together a while. You've started a business. How's having a business together taught you guys anything about yourselves?
Ah, yes, I absolutely. I think Eric and I are also into real estate, so that's another avenue where we've kind of been working on things together. When we bought our house together, so that's kind of an avenue where we've really kind of collaborated a lot. The Tiptons has been a little bit lighter on that side, but I think just patience when you're working with anybody and you have different ideas about things and just trying to understand where somebody's coming from and hear their great ideas and see how it could be worked into the business. So I think it's taught both of us patience and being a better listener and being really open-minded to any and all ideas. So,
Do you guys have any protocols for setting boundaries between business and relationship?
I'd say that's a work in progress. uh Yeah, we've been very blended this year. We got married in July, so it's just been kind of a crazy year, like starting the business, having a wedding, fixing up our house. So it's been a really busy year, and I think that's something we're kind of like, hey, when we have a time to step back from some of this stuff, the wedding's over, that kind of thing, we want to have a little bit more structured boundaries, but um until busy season's over with the business, I think we're full steam ahead and little to no boundaries.
I can relate because that's similar to how it is with my fiance right now. We're not in business together, but we're both business owners.
Mhm.
And it's really important to have those boundaries. I had a guest on here a while ago. He did one of the earlier ones, and he's been in business for 15 years with his wife. And he said he'd come back and do one with his wife on how they set boundaries, do it
Mhm.
together. And I really want him to because it will be a good service for me and my fiance selfishly. And I think a lot of business owners that are couples, because
Yeah.
I think if you don't and you blend it, maybe it can work out great, but with no plan and no structure, you just will, I think, miss some of the beauty and the things you appreciate
Mhm.
in your partner
Yeah.
because work can be stressful and life can be stressful. And if you don't have that on off, and from what I understand, he has very, very strict protocols that he sticks to of when they talk about business and when they don't, where they leave it. And I think it's probably important,
Yeah.
but it's a work in progress. I'm not speaking from a lot of experience.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think that, right now we're a little bit type B about it, but there's some times where it's like, "Okay, we gotta stop talking about this for a while." Um, So, yeah, I imagine as life goes on, it's gonna be more and more important just to have that all lined out and continue doing the things that we love because outside of work, but totally agree with that.
The dog and the name of the company.
Mhm.
Tell me the story.
Oh, man, we were mulling on a few different names, and I kinda we love our dog. His name is Tipton, and he is a mix. He's about 2 years old, and he's a mix between a border collie, an Australian shepherd, and a blue heeler, so he's a cow dog, mutt, and we love him very much, and Tipton's was one of the ideas. And then we were kinda doing something a little bit more straightforward, more tire storage focused, more obvious to the customer, and I think we settled on Tipton's because we just thought it was fun.
Mhm.
A lot of things in business, being a business owner, are just a little bit more serious, straightforward, you gotta do these things, XYZ. So, I really love the idea of incorporating a mascot into the whole operation and just keeping it lighthearted. Tire storage, it doesn't have to be don't take yourself too seriously, and, I'm glad we did because we've been able to involve him in some of the marketing, and, he loves being on camera, although briefly, because he's ready to play after too long, but it's been fun.
Are you guys gonna do an official Tipton logo at some point?
I think so. I think we'll have to. Maybe some Tipton's merch
Yeah, that'd be
with
very
his
cool.
face on it.
Is there anything else that anyone should know about you or Eric or your guys' business?
Um, I think one of the things that I like that people know is that, Eric and I really we started the business to just be an integral we wanted to be a part of the community, to be very involved in the community, and we love the Bozeman community and everything that it stands for. We love the culture here and how people really value their hobbies and the outdoors and the mountains. Um, and so we're passionate about that, and we want our business to reflect that. And we want it to feel like a neighborhood business, like a small business always. So we want people to always feel free to call us or text us and treat it like we're their aunt and uncle storing their tires in their garage kind of thing. So
That's very cool. I can relate and completely respect it. It's a big reason why I started this podcast because I love being involved with community and the businesses in it. I think it still holds and maintains that small town community feel.
yeah,
And part of it's how much you put into that, but it's a special place with a lot of great people and a lot of cool businesses.
yeah. And as Bozeman grows, I think it's so special that you do this because I really think it's important that we continue to support and kind of reach out and all introduce ourselves on the Main Street level because there's going to be bigger companies coming in, and we don't want to lose sight of the small community feel of it all.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I was talking with Austin of Nexus Coffee. He was talking about all these apartment buildings that they're building, and there's a lot of storefronts
Mhm.
for businesses. And the unfortunate truth, and it's not all doom and gloom, but they're going to be very expensive to lease, and it's probably going to be a lot of corporate companies.
Mhm.
And like slowly over time, that's how a town will change a little bit. Because if it's a lot of Starbucks and City Brew, nothing wrong with them, but there's not as much room or affordability for a mom and pop startup or a startup like yours and Eric's. Because unless it's a you know funded startup where you're raising capital, you're bootstrapping it and you're making it work.
Totally. Yeah, and the $10,000 a month rent or whatever some of these places cost are, um, not very manageable. I know some of the downtown stores, it's so nice to have downtown on Main Street representation of the tiny shops and local owners, and, you do kinda see that when towns grow, that being taken over just because they get priced out, but we love seeing that, so
Yeah, it's cool, and but it's very expensive.
yeah,
Yeah, there's not much, no disrespect to any of the businesses on Main Street, but it's very pricey, and you got to have a pretty well established cash producing business to cover those rents, or you're sitting on borrowed money until you get there.
absolutely. Yeah.
Completely get it. So what's the website? tiptonstires.com?
Yes, Tipton's with an S, Tiptons, tires, TIRES.com.
And you guys are on social?
Yes, Tipton's Tires, at Tipton's Tires on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, we'd love to get anybody's questions or just follow along for great Tipton content. We'll try to keep giving it.
It's pretty good.
People.
It's pretty good.
Well, thank you.
I'll put all this in the show notes and hopefully get some more calls.
Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Tim.
Kinsey. Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.